everybody, it's Tipsy Tuesday.
Who's ready for Tipsy Tuesday? What's it called when you do the chicky? Look how pretty!
A fun weekly show where we grab our favorite drink. Salud!
Diana!
I see, it's nice.
We take our bras off.
Somebody just wrote chicken.
And we laugh at people from around the world.
Yeah, I want some cheese and crackers. Of course I do.
Sometimes we even have guests.
So put your jammies on.
It's time for Tipsy Tuesday.
Good evening, everybody. It's Tipsy Tuesday. Listen, you made it. You made it past Monday, and there's still a long way to go. So we're celebrating it. So welcome to Tipsy Tuesday, where we have been drinking on the internet for, I think, 8 years every Tuesday. And when the world seems like it's going crazy, we will still be here for you on Tuesday. The only rules are you have to be in your jams, and that is time sensitive. It might be 6 o'clock where you are, and your favorite drink in hand, and no bra. So do with those what you would like. We have a great show tonight. I can't wait to reintroduce you to one of our favorites. Let me tell you all her creds because they're amazing. She's a stand-up comedian, Emmy-nominated, WGA award-winning comedy writer, having performed stand-up on Conan, Late Night Show with James Corden, Comedy Central, been a guest on Mar? I don't know what that means. Was a top 10 finalist on season 9 of NBC's Last Comic Standing and a guest on Mark Maron's WTF 3 times. She's born and raised in the Bay Area. She became interested in stand-up after seeing too many male comics talk about women. I totally get that. Her need to try stand-up came from an intense desire to tell her story instead of hearing it be told by a dude. After 10 years of basing herself in Northern California, she relocated to New York City. In 2003, she added TV writing to her resume with her first staff job on Comedy Central's Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn. She moved into the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson and tried her hand at daytime on the Bonnie Hunt Show. Who didn't love Bonnie Hunt? Before being hired as a monologue writer on Conan for his entire 11-year run on TBS. And most recently, she was part of the writing team on this last Sunday's 2025 Oscars. Please welcome to the show, the one and only Laurie Kilmartin. Hey.
Hi. How are you, Tina?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm still coming down. I feel like I'm re-entering society. You know, I'm like, oh, I have to start paying attention to the news. I was able to just disconnect and focus on movies from, January till Sunday. So I'm back.
So was this like a surprise, or did you know this was in the pipeline? How did this come about? Because you've obviously worked with Conan before.
Yeah. So when I heard that he got it, I think I just said, hey, I'm available and I would love to be part of this. And so, he ended up bringing me back in. So that was really cool. And yeah, it's the first time I've been in a physical writer's room since COVID,
Wow.
Obviously we were remote after all that, and we went back in for maybe a couple weeks, and then the show ended in June of 2021. So it was so fun to just reunite with my friends, with comedy writers, and just that whole rhythm of writing jokes together and putting stuff together for TV for your host to say. It was a lot of fun. And I was like, man, I really miss this. I am so isolated now, and that's not a good way for me to live. And so
I was going to say, what do you do now that you have that bug back? Like, are you just itching to get into another room somewhere?
Of course I am. It's, it's tough. There's not a lot of late night shows and there's not a lot of jobs. So it's tough, but I would love that, of course.
Now, when you were working on it, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people here that really don't even get the the job of the stand-up comic and that kind of grind. I feel like you know it if you do it. But a lot of people are like, oh, I saw this lady here. I'm like, well, that lady goes everywhere trying to do the same thing at a million clubs. But most people don't even know about what happens in a writer's room. And how many women were in that writer's room with you? Are we still a minority?
Jessie Gaskell's another writer, and she is a lady. And I think there was like 8 of us total, so maybe we were 25%. So it was cool. It's a nice mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so I was watching the highlights from the Oscars, and I watched the monologue. Like when you're watching, are you sitting there like, that one was mine, I wrote that one? Like, are you?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. We're backstage in a separate area, watching, and we were not only there to like just pitch new jokes in case something happened, and try to he was on most of the acts he was there. I think he was maybe 10 out of the 14 acts he was on. So we had jokes for every single act. And yeah, I mean, you do hope your joke does well. And then there's jokes that are sort of like everyone's joke.
Mm-hmm.
We all just sort of batted, premises around and came up with ideas. So it's not a lot of, I guess it's some of it's like, oh, that's mine, I wrote that one completely. And others, it's like, that was sort of a room joke that I contributed to.
That's awesome. And it's so what I loved about his monologue was that you could tell some of those jokes were written that night, right? Because what's his name walked in with the yellow suit.
Chalamet,
right?
yeah.
There's no way that that was going to happen, right? Like, was that written that night, or do you already know?
Yeah, no, the monologue had been pretty set by Saturday night. Yeah.
So you already know what he's wearing?
No, we didn't have a joke about what he was wearing.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It was his yellow suit. He had a yellow suit on, and Conan was like, at least you're definitely not going to hit on your bike in that suit.
Oh, he just ripped that then.
Oh,
yeah.
He did.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
The other one that was in his monologue, and it's funny because when I think of Conan, I don't think of him necessarily being biting. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I think he's just super lovable and likable. I think that's why he's so successful. But the bit about the actress with the tweets, and he was like,
Carla Sophia Gascon. Yeah. That was tricky leading up to this because it was such a big story. And not only did she tweet a bunch of racist stuff, but it was directed at Oscar winners and the Oscars. So it was so awkward. And before the tweets came out, I think she was, a lock to win because I think people really wanted her to win,
Yeah.
And then those tweets came out as like, no thanks.
Yeah.
The voting started after all that. So she really lost it then.
I was going to say, and imagine if it didn't happen that way, that they had been voted on and then it came out.
I know.
So
she hadn't been to any of the other award shows. And we were like, well, like, it is, you don't want to sit there and roast somebody. I don't know. That's just not that event. And it makes it weird. And we just everyone wanted it to be really funny. Yeah. And we wanted people to have a good time. And we didn't want to necessarily terrorize somebody. Yeah. And it's weird because she was, that was really one big thing we were worried about was her. And the other was we thought that we're worried the Pope would die because that's basically the story to Conclave is the Pope dies and the Conclave is them selecting the next Pope. And it's
I saw it. Yeah.
If you got to comment on it if the Pope dies, but the closer it gets to the Oscar, like if he dies Sunday morning, are we doing a joke on Sunday? It was just like so many things to worry about.
If you write a Pope joke, do you go to heaven? I mean, there's just so many things.
So many questions, Dina, that are unanswered. But luckily, the Pope hung on, so we were grateful we could do all of our conclave jokes, and then it's weird. Like when we were in rehearsals and watching stuff and, watching Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo in rehearsals, and you just realize how big this is and how like it's gonna sound dumb, but like the majesty of it. You're gonna have like these
Yeah.
major celebrities. For some of them, this is the biggest nights of their life. They're gonna look incredible. Almost no one's gonna be thinking about Carla. And she wasn't even seated near any like all the other Oscar nominees are right up front. And she was way, way, way like
Really?
yeah, like it took the camera a second to find her, I think, when Conan did that joke. And so it wasn't on everyone's minds like we thought it would be,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, leading up to it.
Yeah.
And you just can't it I guess you can't predict how overwhelming and how beautiful like the theater is and the performances and
Yeah.
the excitement of it all. And so this one blip isn't really going to overshadow it like we worried it would.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I don't know if everybody knows what we're talking about. I actually just watched is it Amelia Perez?
Amelia Perez,
Amelia
yes.
Perez. I just watched it the other day. It was not at all what I thought it was. I don't know what I thought it was going to be. I just kept seeing that it was winning awards. So I was like, oh, we should watch this. This is winning all of the awards.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then you read the description. I was like, oh, this is about like a gang. I was like, oh, this is going to be like the mafia something. And then like in 2 seconds, it's a musical. And Jason was like, is this a musical? I was like, I don't know. And then the whole thing is in Spanish. It was, and it was so crazy. And I was like, you have to watch how does this, I mean, it was just so crazy.
It was crazy. Like I read one description was so perfect, like a trans narco musical. Like, wait, what?
Right?
What are you talking about? Every sentence, every word that described it made it less understandable.
Yeah.
And the other thing that was kind of controversial is that the director was French. He'd never been to Mexico. He shot it in France. So Mexican people were like, okay, so you've made us all look like we're drug kingpins or, grieving mothers, and that's the whole country, and you've never been here. And I guess the Spanish they were using wasn't like the proper Mexican slang for a lot of stuff. There were so many things going on with that movie.
Wow. So the movie was winning a ton of awards.
Right.
But one of the actresses in it was putting out some racist tweets. And so that's what it's about. Sarah's like, I'm still lost. I agree.
She's Spanish. She's from Spain. So, there's so much going on. Now, one of the things, and I don't even know if people noticed it, but it was all over the news today. First, I heard that Adrian Brody's speech went entirely too long. And so there were articles that came out that Adrian Brody, why didn't he get played off the way everybody else got played off? So that there was that whole thing. But then today they were like, masses of people are disgusted by what the gesture that Adrian Brody made on his way up to the stage. Do you know what I'm talking about? No, I didn't see it.
So there's like a picture of him, and he's like, his hand is in the air, but low. Mm-hmm. And you can see he was like on his way up, and his hand is like this. And I was like, what? Did he give somebody the finger? I don't know what he did. So I go back and look, and he hugged everybody. He hugged 20 people in the audience, and then he's on his way up to the stage. Yes, Tanya. And at the last minute, he takes something out of his mouth and tosses it to his wife, who tries to catch it. I'm like, is it his teeth? What is he throwing? But it turns out he had gum in his mouth.
You can't just swallow the gum.
Guys, somebody said that to him. They were like, why didn't you just swallow the gum? He goes, my head was spinning. He goes, I don't know why I didn't. But in my mind, I was just like, let me get rid of this. So he throws it to his girlfriend or wife. I don't know. Girlfriend. She misses it. And then she was like, whatever. And then she goes and sits down. So his gum just sits on the floor. So people were.
Wow, I missed that.
People were just like, that is the most relatable and trashy thing I've ever seen. Like, it was iconic and trashy at the same time. But people were like losing them. They're like, they were like, you can have money and you still won't have class. I'm like, it was just so crazy. Just the things that people will come up with. I'm like, listen, if I won an Oscar, God, who knows what I would do? Maybe I'd pull my pants. I have no idea, but it was just so funny.
Yeah, he was sitting in the front row. So yeah, that's so strange. His girlfriend is Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife. I know. So now you have to think now. So she has an attraction to a certain kind of guy, and now when you put that through that filter, and he throws gum at her and expects her to catch it, does that seem a little different now? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well,
the whole thing is so
You got
bizarre.
the inside scoop.
Well, that's not even inside. I mean, kind of,
I just don't
yeah.
know.
But yeah, I just was surprised this speech went so long, and they let him go. I mean, it had nothing to do with us. That was like the director's call, I guess, because it was almost the last speech, and he's beloved by the Academy, and it was the second one, but it didn't make him look good. And they cut to Brody Corbet, who's the director, who's broke. Like, he has not made a single dime from this movie yet. He was on Marin talking about that, and he kind of was looking. He did not look happy, because you gotta feel like if The Brutalist is a 3.5 hour movie, right? And it has an intermission. If you see it in the theater, it's got a 15-minute intermission. So even if you're someone streaming it from home, you're asking a lot of them, and it's about a Holocaust survivor. Like, you're going in for some heavy stuff.
Wow.
If you decide to watch The Brutalist, and if your lead actor is sort of just being obnoxious, that's going to make a lot of people go, I don't need to see it. And that's that he made the film so people would see it,
Wow.
and maybe maybe at some point earn some income from it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like, I wish Adrian Brody had kind of considered that before he went off on that tangent, because it made him look unlikable, and I think it would turn off a certain kind of viewer who maybe was like on the fence about watching The Brutalist, and was like, I don't like that guy.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on this? It has taken on like such a whole, and none of this has anything to do with the Oscars other than the fact it's a movie and people who make movies unwatchable, is the whole thing with what's her name and what's his name. I'm a little tired. You know who I'm talking about. And she went on her tour for the movie. You're going to know. It's
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
We're going to play movie trivia where I give you no clues.
No, you went like this. I was like, wait a minute. That's Ryan Reynolds' wife. I got it.
But I mean, it was so crazy when she did her press tour. At no point did she talk about domestic violence. She was talking about her new dress line. And then the whole thing came out with the guy. And at this point, I'm like, first I was like, oh my God, he's horrible. Then I was like, wait, no, she's horrible. And I was like, are they both horrible? Like,
I have not invested a minute of my life into this story.
You're probably a better person for it. You would probably be in heaven.
Right.
We'll be in hell.
So yeah, I don't really know. I guess I should, but it just feels messy on both ends, and I don't want another Johnny Depp Amber Heard in my life. Things are too stressful now, and I can't take on another messy thing.
It's very funny though, because I don't remember a time when we were younger where it does seem to happen. I don't want to say often, but where a movie comes out and either the press tour doesn't go well and it ruins the movie. Like, it just never happened. Maybe they didn't do press tours as much when we were younger. I don't know. But you start to, I just feel like there are a lot of movies that come out now where you're like, there's so much drama behind the scenes that's happening. Here, let's play again. What's Pew? Pew was in it.
Oh, I know you're talking about with the guy Chris Pine. I forget the name of the movie, but yeah, there was some weird stuff there,
right?
Yes.
And she wouldn't stand next to the director, who was the lady who was
Olivia Wilde. Yes, yeah.
You're so good. If you could follow me around and fill in all of these, I know what I'm trying to say, and if you could just,
I speak your language, lady. I get it.
You just fill in. But that was another one where it was so uncomfortable on the press tour, and they wouldn't talk to each other. And you're like, it kind of like messes the movie up a little. You're like, this,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to watch this. It's very funny.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie. I
was.
did watch it. Yeah.
Me too.
I forgot who was the one that was I forget the lead actor. It wasn't Chris Pine, it was somebody else.
No,
And
it wasn't Chris Pine.
Olivia
I don't know why
Wilde.
you asked me
did not
based
get
on what
along.
I've said so far. I don't
Yeah.
know any names. Yeah,
Right.
not tonight. But yeah, so yeah, that's really kooky. The Oscars, I imagine it's got it. Now, did Conan say if he'll do it again next year?
We haven't heard anything, but
Oh.
we've been, all of us writers are just passing reviews back and forth, and like the reviews have been really, really good.
Yeah.
And the ratings were really good. And, Conan, he took the gig, and then a couple weeks later, both of his parents died within 3 days of each other. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. So his, I believe his father passed first, and then he went home. He was like going home because he's doing a travel show, right? So he's overseas doing his travel show, gets the word about his father, goes home. 3 days later, his mother passes, or it was the other way around. So they end up having a double funeral right before Christmas for the parents. Then a couple weeks later, we're all writing. We're like meeting, right, and writing, and we hear about these fires, and there's some evacuations, and Conan's wife had to evacuate, and it was kind of just like chit chat, like, it just felt like overreacting and stuff, as things always do.
Right.
And then that turned into the Palisades and the Eaton fires, and so he's been living out of a hotel since then.
Did his house burn down?
No, it didn't. But if your house didn't, I have a couple of friends in this situation. If your house didn't burn down, you can't move back into it for a while. They have to. The smoke damage is so bad.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people are in hotels right now, and that's stressful as well. And now you're hosting the Oscars, the biggest award show,
Wow.
on television,
Wow.
and your first time doing it. And I don't know. And then all this stuff happens with Carla, like how, it's so tricky because she's trans, and how you're, you really just got to hit it just right. And then the Pope. So it was creatively, it was a lot, I think. And then he did a big song and dance. Like, he had a lot to do.
The song and dance was hilarious. If you missed it during the Oscars, he was the one thing I'm not going to do is waste your time. And then he wrote a musical number called "I'm Not Going to Waste Your Time."
Yes, with a chorus, with a dancing daredevil, with okay. I'm saying Ryan Reynolds' character wrong. I am very tired as well, Dina. We were in the office for like till 12:30 on Saturday, and they had to come back around 8 a.m. And it was just a lot of writing and a lot of rearranging jokes, and so yeah. But his musical number was amazing. And then he had the thing later where he had to do greetings in 3 languages. So he knows enough Spanish to do it, but he had to phonetically learn Hindi and Mandarin to do those greetings. And then we changed some of the jokes for the Mandarin one. So then we had to get a new translation. He had to relearn that. And it was a lot of stuff. And he pulled it off.
I was going to say, he's so smooth.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So he really pulled it off, and it was a lot of work. And I think he was really happy when it was happening. He looked like, to me, I told him, I'm like, you look 35. Like, one of the jokes about him not looking like he didn't have work done, like when we were trying it when he was doing it in comedy clubs, it was like, it worked because it was just, you're in a club, but somehow on the Oscars, he looked so young. It actually didn't hit that well. It was like, oh, interesting. We should have double checked their lighting before we committed to this joke about him looking 80,
That's fun. How old is he in real life?
I think he's 61.
61. Yeah. No, he did. He just looked on top of his game, and it was great. And the bit, and let's play again. The guy jumping up and down. It was like the award for production quality.
Oh, Ben Stiller. Oh, I think that came from Ben Stiller. That wasn't us, but that
Oh,
was
really?
hilarious.
It was
Yeah.
hilarious. And it
Yeah.
was so funny because half the people that were watching it, if you missed it, Ben Stiller was giving the award for production and
Production design. Yeah.
and this thing was supposed to rise up, and it did, but then it started to go back down, and he was
Yeah.
like, these people are unsung heroes, and every time he would see it go up and down. So the joke was, when things go wrong, like, these are the people that make it, like, so nothing goes wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
But it was so funny because on the internet, people were like, "This is horrible that Ben Stiller had to endure," and they were like, "That's the joke. The joke
Oh no! Oh my
this
God!
is why these people are important." You're like,
People are getting dumber and dumber. It is so hard to write a joke that's dumb enough for everyone to get that you're still not embarrassed by.
Yeah. Yeah. And Adam Sandler, I mean, some of the stuff he does is so silly, but he's just
Yeah.
so likable.
Yeah.
You're just like, what is he doing? But I just like him.
Oh, he and Conan are friends, and so that was really cool. I thought that the pacing of the monologue too, the whole first act where you had Conan telling jokes, and then you had some live stuff with Adam, and then you had the big song, and you had him talking for a couple of moments about what happened with the fires and stuff like that. I thought the pacing was just wonderful, and it kept you glued because it wasn't too much of anything.
It was. And I think that's, just goes back to, I feel like when it comes to emceeing, if an audience feels comfortable that you are taking them on a journey, they will stay with you. And
Yeah.
he has complete command of that stage, and he doesn't look nervous. And
Yeah.
It's so funny. You just said it's his first time hosting, and I'm like, gosh, I feel like he's been doing it forever. I didn't realize that it was his first time hosting the Oscars.
Yeah, well, he hosted the Emmys, and both of his Emmy hosting monos were like so funny. So
Really?
yeah, but it's been a while,
And 'cause at one point he said, I'm barely getting paid for this. Is this gig like historically like
as far
not?
as I know, it's historically low paying, and it's like maybe scale. It's more the honor. It's like you don't get paid to do a Super Bowl halftime show. It's more the honor of it.
Yeah,
So,
I
it was
remember
something like
hearing
that.
that, and I was like, they don't get paid, but it's just all the promo for it.
Yeah,
Somebody's
yeah,
got an album coming out or whatever. I'm sure when they
yeah.
ask you or I to do the halftime show, I'd be like, I'm too busy.
I need to promote my night at Flappers here in Burbank. So yeah, please. I would do it.
So now I was thinking about you because it's now March and this is your son's senior year.
Right.
How are you feeling?
Well, I don't know about any of the other moms with high school kids, but mine doesn't drive yet. A lot of the kids don't drive. And I was like, I'm getting real sick of this drop off.
Yeah, because he's 17, right?
He's 18.
I would not be.
I was like, I thought we'd be done by now, but then it's like, well, I'd have to buy a second car, so I'm not really sure. But it'll probably hit me in May. He's going to go to a local community college, so in a lot of ways, our lives won't change too much. But according, he doesn't like. He can't wait to be done with high school. He doesn't like the classes. He doesn't like anything, and I think he's excited to be in college with adults and taking classes that feel like they're more what he wants to study and not what is the prerequisite.
Yeah, that senioritis kicks in around now.
Yeah.
Here. Well, it was so funny because my daughter is a junior in college. She'll be a senior next year. And she said the other day, she goes, because right now she is living with my mom. My mom lives closer to the college than I do. And she said recently, she's like, what do you think if I live on campus next year? Now, she only lived on campus for like the first year and then 2 years with me, one with me and one with my mom. And I said, okay, well, we can talk about it. And she said, well, I just feel like, I didn't really get a lot of time on campus. I feel a little disconnected from things. And I said, okay. I said, well, remember how you felt as a senior in high school and you were kind of done? I said, she's going to school for music and teaching. I said, next year, you're going to start student teaching and you're going to be with adults and people you might work with in the long run. I don't know that you're going to want to be like, let's go to the party. I was like, I mean, we can talk about it if you want. I said, but mind you, grandma does all your laundry. She makes pizzelles and lasagna.
Oh my God. I want to live with your mom, Dina. Come on.
I said, I'm going to go move in with grandma. I'm at this point. I don't know why you would leave. And she's like, you know what? You're probably right. I think I'll just stay with grandma. It was so funny, but it seems like that senioritis, you know.
Yeah.
I said, I know it's not where your brain is yet because you're like so into stuff with school. I said, but I just think you'll be in a different place next year. So
Yeah.
it'll be funny. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, does he have plan? I mean, he's going to have to get his license for college, right? You're not going
He
to drop him
is.
off to
We're
college,
no.
pack his lunch and drop him off for English
No.
comp.
He will. He's going to take his test again. And
Did he not?
I'm like, there's no other option. You've got to pass this thing. You really do. I know. Okay. I don't know. We'll see.
And has he shown any interest in stand up?
No, not at all. No, he wants to be an animator. So he's
Okay.
that's he wants to go to art school for that after
Oh.
junior college. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look at the kids doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I don't know. So I have my three.
Yeah.
My son is 25, 22, and 20 is
Yeah.
Brooke. And it definitely, the dynamics definitely like change.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very funny thing. Do you think anything like with how you do things will change? Like, are you gone very often when you are on the road? Like, do you have like a limit of like, I only want to be away for a week and then come home? Like,
I mean, I'm going away tomorrow. I'm going to New York tomorrow. So, yeah, I usually road work is like a weekend or something. So I'm not gone too long, but this is a little bit of a longer trip. So, yeah. You know, he's older. It's, you know, he gets to be alone and be the man of the house. And
yeah.
so that's kind of cool. He likes that.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. So today I was going to the dentist.
Yeah.
And I had to get a cap. I'm at cap age. Are you at
Yeah.
cap age where most of your teeth just become caps?
No, not yet, but maybe they should. I get yelled at it on Instagram for having yellow teeth. It's like, well, you know, I like coffee. I'm sorry. I have to let go of some things.
People say that?
Yeah. Men do. Men get mad at me.
Why do men get mad? Well,
What?
why do they get mad? They're just-
Because I have a joke about Gen X men having brain damage, and for some reason it was found by Gen X men, and they won't stop telling me I am commenting on their behavior, and they are commenting on my face. Pardon?
Can I hear the joke?
Yeah, I just feel like men my age, I'm in my 50s, and divorced men my age are not well. And something is amiss with this cohort. Here's my theory. Gen X men are the last generation of American men to play high school sports with no concussion protocols, right? So they were hit in the head, called a pussy, and sent back out on the field over and over again. And now they're all grown up and they're on a loose. These horny, brain-damaged, man-sized, shaken babies, DMing in all caps. Do you know Joe Rogan? No, I don't. Please see a neurologist. Now, Dina, that joke is on Instagram, and I can't tell you the hate I have gotten from men who found it.
Okay, so I don't know if I told you this the last time you were on. Have you heard of the burned haystack method? Do you know who Jenny is yet? Do you know that?
I feel like you might have told me.
All right, let me just
heard this.
remind you. Let me remind you. Okay, so there's a lady named Jenny who has this website called the Burned Haystack Method, where it's a woman only Facebook page.
Yeah.
And she has her PhD in rhetoric and applied something big word. And she basically provides like this amazing framework for dating apps specifically.
Yeah.
And she will tell you if a guy says this, this is what this means. And she does this thing called block to burn. So her whole thing is, if a guy shows you who he is, believe him and block him. Like if a guy, if you have a date and he doesn't show up for it and he leaves you, and then 2 months later he comes back, oh, I'm really sorry. We don't let him come back. We block him. We're done with him, right? And she has this whole thing that she does, and it has like 125,000 members now, and it just keeps growing and growing. We've had her on our show twice.
Somebody sent that to me, but it wasn't you. But I was like, yeah, this does sound familiar. I think I did join it.
But you were on the page.
Oh, that's why they sent it to me.
That's why. So we had her on the show, and I'm on the page. I love the page. You should join, if for no other reason, Laurie,
I know,
than just the humor factor.
Yeah.
Because women take screenshots. They always block out the man, but it said Gen X man. And it'll be screenshots of the things that men are saying. And I'm obsessed with it. And Jason is like, why do you read this stuff? Like, you're not on the dating app. I'm like, this is gold. Did you read this? And he doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand it. My son Dean is like, why do you read this? I'm like, you guys don't understand. These are the conversations that we're having with crazy people. You would never write this, so you don't understand why it's so enraging.
But we've seen this, and this is reminding me to stay with you.
Yes.
Michelle, I have to get off because I have to drop something off at UPS before 7 because I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I'm like trying to get a million things done tonight.
Well, listen, it was so fun, Laurie. You're always welcome back.
Thank you, Dina. I would love to come back when I can do the full hour.
No problem. And safe travels to New York and all of the things. All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Laurie.
Thanks so much, Dina. Bye.
Bye. I could talk to Laurie forever. She's so hilarious, but it was so funny because Jenny was on our show. And literally, like the next day, I go on and I'm looking for some more funny stuff to read. And Laurie was on there. It was a clip of Laurie on like I don't know which television show, but she was talking about dating apps. It might even have been that bit that she just did for us, but it was so funny. I was like, I feel like my worlds are colliding. They're all colliding right now. I know. She's so funny. She's so funny. But Michelle and I both said because Laurie had posted that she was right on the writing staff for the Oscars. And I just love it. I just love hearing when women specifically are doing amazing things. And I think, the writer's room is like the coolest place. And I just think that Laurie's great. So I wanted her to share her stories and let you know some of the great things that are out there. And I know I've mentioned before that we have our open mic coming up. I'm going to keep talking about it because some of you, listen, right now, I don't want to low-key brag. There are 19 people signed up for open mic, which starts next Wednesday. And I think all of them signed up to be audience members. So it might just be us staring at each other, which I'm fine with because the first step to getting out of your comfort zone and learning to be, all right, Tanya, I heard what you said, and I'm going to talk to the 19 people. And I think we're going to move up our time to 9 p.m., not 9:30, Tanya. It's called the Tanya rule. So now you can join us. And I might even be convinced to move it to 8:30, but it's still only 5:30 on California time. So, yeah, I know, Anne-Marie. We're just going to stare at each other for an hour. I don't care. All I'm saying is that I am going to be there on Wednesday. And all of you are welcome to come, and maybe somebody will decide to share. It's a sharing circle. Maybe I should just not call it open mic. Maybe I should call it circle time. Maybe it would be less overwhelming for people if I call it circle time. So I just want you to know, circle time starts next Wednesday, March 12th. You are all welcome. It's all virtual. Tanya, the other Tanya, and you don't have to look presentable. Come in your pajamas. I don't care. I think the important thing, show and tell. We'll call it show and tell. I just think it's important that we practice, that we get out of our nerves I don't have anything to share. I don't believe you, Sarah. It's therapy. You know what? You're right. Karen fixed it. It's therapy. For $17.50 a month. You're like, that's better than my HMO. Am I wrong? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You tell me I'm wrong right now. I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of comedians. Open mic is essentially therapy. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can, Shikendra. Mm-hmm. You can count this as a therapy session. It's a story time. Listen, you bees can call it whatever you want. Okay. You have to show up. If I'm dedicating my time to it, you can dedicate your time to it. And here's what I have to say about it. Just like Laurie said, all right, there needs to be more women out there speaking their minds, giving their point of view, saying what they got to say, get stuff off their chest. All right. And we're providing a place, and all you got to do is show up. It is cheaper than a copay. Thank you, Kelly. Open mic. It's cheaper than your copay. That's the great byline. Carmen, write that down. Send it to Wendy. Uh-huh. Yeah. Am I wrong? And they say, I'm thinking about it, but I'm nervous. You can come and be nervous, Jennifer. We're not going to make anybody do anything they don't want to do. All right. We're just going to be there and be like, listen, if anybody wanted to say something, you go ahead, raise your hand. And then you put that weird hand thing up in the Zoom. And that's it. You can, Patty. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So should people stand up when it's a turn? Maybe. Here's the thing. And here's how I want you to look at it. We are the founders. Who knows what this is going to turn into? I don't know what it's going to look like a year from now. But what I'm saying is that we are a group of kooky ladies and a couple of fabulous kooky men. And I'm saying, if we had a place to meet, even virtually, what would happen if we all got together and we said, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna get outside of my zone. So if we want to change it to 8:30, we'll change it to 8:30. There's only 19 of us. We could do, yeah, Deb, why not? I just want to watch, but I probably won't be able to figure out how to do it. That's all right, Callie. Just sign up and come watch. Crying is absolutely fine. Yeah. No, there are some people for sure that went through our program when we were doing the classes that would just come and cry, just cry and cry. And guess what? Nobody paid any attention to them. We were like, girl, you need to cry. Where else are you going to do it? You can pay a lot more for therapy. I can tell you that. Are others allowed to offer advice to our open mic session? That is a great question, Sarah. In a real open mic, that is not a thing. I think that and again, there's 19 of us, so we can just decide. If somebody said they would like my opinion, I'll give my opinion. If somebody said I would like the opinion from the group, sure, then we'll open it up. But I think it should be up to the person. Because I think that everybody has a real different idea of what good feedback is. And not all feedback is good feedback, including myself. And I think that that's a big part of it, is that even when you go to, in-person mics, is that everybody's going to have an opinion on what you're doing. And you have to decide who you want to listen to. And isn't that life? Right? Everybody got something to say, and you have to decide who you want to listen to. And it can open up a lot more, Tammy. That is for sure. So I think it's awesome. And, it might just be, me and a whole lot of people. Haven't heard the clock. Robin, I changed the clock so Jason doesn't lose his mind. So now it's on the Ave Maria, but it only rings on the hour, not the quarter hours. That seems to have been better for Jason. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. They do, Kylie. They absolutely say. Am I signed up for all this? I don't know, Joey Joe. Because I know you signed up for a class, which we got to make sure we have enough people before we go on that. But you should check. If you go to your dashboard, it'll tell you what you're signed up for. So, but it should be exciting. Yeah, it starts on the 12th. Yes, you will hear the Ave Maria at 10 o'clock in 14 minutes. Yeah. All right, Sharon, fair. That's a fair assessment. So, can I still, since, yes, absolutely, Denise, sign up for the open mic. Yeah. I don't like my dashboard. Why? Tell me. You have to tell me because it's new. I'm still learning it myself. So email me and tell me. The Ave Maria starts at 6 a.m. But I turn the volume down so you can't really hear it upstairs. So we're learning. We're learning how to work with the cuckoo clock. But I was working tonight. I was sitting at the computer and I was working, and then the Ave Maria started to play, and I just stopped what I was doing. I was like, "It's so pretty." Will they be taped so if we can't make it, you can see what went on? No. The open mics, I feel like when it comes to an open mic, the reason why you wouldn't tape it is because, just like a comedy show, every open mic, every comedy show you go to is so unique. And when people say they've never been to a comedy show, I'm always marvel because I think there's something amazing about being in a room at a comedy show because you will never see that show in that room with that lineup of comedians and that audience again. It'll never happen again. And it's such a unique and beautiful thing. And I feel that when it comes to an open mic, there's something sacred about people being vulnerable and people putting themselves out there. And I feel like if you are not there for that open mic and you are not part of that kind of group unloading of things, I don't know that it'll seem the same thing on a recording. And I feel like it should be for the people that are there. So no, we are not going to record those. The classes are recorded. So if you wanted something, to go back to that you want to be able to kind of learn from. And the classes are much more individual. And the classes are like, we're going to be specifically working on what you're doing and this person is doing. So the classes are really different. They're much more individualized. Okay. No, I don't like anything really. Do you want to put it back in the library? Okay. No. You could see him in the mirror. He's moving the clock. I laid the clock on the couch. And he's like, how long are you going to lay the clock on the couch? Who's popping a beer? Said Marie. Are you allowed to drop? Yeah, you can drop in anytime. And we're going to start it at 9 o'clock on the 12th now. I got to go tomorrow and change the times. So we'll go from 9 to, it's supposed to go 9 to 10:30, but if nobody's talking, it might just go from 9 to 10. Yeah. How long will it be each time? So I don't know. Jen, originally I had said it was going to be an hour and a half, but that's when people were going to actually go up. But if it's just us all looking at each other and just like feeling things, it might just be an hour. Yeah, the clock shuts off at 10 o'clock. So it'll ring at 10 and then it won't ring again until 6 in the morning. Yeah. So all right, Tracy, that's a choice. Hey, Marcy. It literally looks exactly like this glass. I know, Shakendra. It's too much. How do you sign up for the open mic? If you go to onefunnymother.com let me put it in the thing. onefunnymother.com /sign-up. I think that's it. It's close. If not, then just go to One Funny Mother. It'll say classes and open mic, and it'll take you right there. Oh, it said no. It didn't want to go through. It didn't go through on Facebook for some reason. Oh, there it went. It happened. Okay. No, he just put it in the library. So yeah. So all good. But yeah, this was a great Tipsy Tuesday. Michelle, create a link that says circle time. You know what's so funny? If I made one that said open mic, I made another one that said circle time, I made another one that said therapy. They're all the same thing, but they all have different names. I bet if you can't sign up at this time, can you sign up? Yes. Yeah, the open mics will be on a rolling basis. So and it's per month. So it's $17.50 a month. And so that'll get you at least 4. Some months it'll get you 5 open mics. But it's every Wednesday at a time that is somewhere around 9:00 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, as long as we're still live, you can absolutely pop in anytime. And I mean, that's really, how open mics are run. They're just like when I started doing stand-up, it was, hey, open mics are at 8:00 on Wednesdays, and you can pop in at any time, but like they weren't recorded. And I would show up for show and tell. Sounds like a lot less pressure than an open mic. Okay, you know what? I'll make one that says show and tell. I'll make one that says circle time. So listen, you can call it whatever you want. I have church on Wednesday. What kind of church? What kind of church has church on Wednesday? Is it like choir practice? What? I don't know what that means. Karen Mahoney. I'm Karen Mahoney. Maiden name Mahoney, no E. How many Karen Mahonies are there here? That's really funny. Did you guys see this comment? There's Karen Mahoney, no E, Nolan. And then there's a Karen Mahoney with an E. That's so crazy. Oh, Lent starts tomorrow. Who's getting ashes? Ophelia. Listen, Ophelia, I never get to the church on time to get the ashes. So then I just got to find somebody that got an ashes, and I got to find their face and then smush up against it. I don't think that's the way the Lord intended it, but it's tomorrow. It's an hour long. It's a Bible study and testimony. All right, Madeline, maybe once a month, you could say to them, I got to cut out. I got to go to circle time. Prayer meeting and Bible study on Wednesday night, said Sharon. Everybody got Bible study. What time? What time's Bible study? I'll work around it. I'm seeing Purple Rain with Jamie. You better go in the morning, Tanya. It is forehead smushing when you can't make it to the church. Your church does drive-through ashes? Jason, where can we get ashes tomorrow?
Get what? At the church in Minneapolis, with John.
All right, look it up.
St. John the Baptist.
All right, look it up. 9 Eastern is a good time. All right, Madeline, that's what it is then. Bible study's at 7. Oh, all of a sudden, Kendra got Bible study. All of a sudden, because Madeline's going. All of a sudden. That's so funny. Bought a Pixaki today to celebrate fat. What's a Pixaki? Tell me how you pronounce that, Nancy. I'm super late, but hey. Do any churches besides Catholic ones distribute ashes? I don't think so. So I don't know. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but the ashes that you receive, and I might be making this up, keep that in mind, are from the palms that are given out on Palm Sunday. They take those palms, I could be making this whole thing up, and they burn them up. And that's the ashes. Does that sound right to anybody else? Pronounce punchki. Punchki. Episcopals do ashes. Punchki. Is this, I'm guessing this is Polish? Mm-hmm. Bob and I have grief group at 7. Hit or miss. We're home by 9. Boom. Mm-hmm. Are the palms from... Yes. Truth, said Deborah. That's a fact, as far as I know. Boom. Thank you, Jean. Jean Jimenez says I'm right. Listen, I learned some stuff at the Catholic Church. It's a Polish-filled dough like a donut. I would love a donut. It is, right, Anna? Episcopals do to ashes too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know if it was during COVID or not, but our church where we used to live used to have it was DIY ashes. So you could just go to the church, and when we showed up, the church was empty. And you walk down the aisle, and right in front of the altar, there was a table, and there was nobody in the church. And it had like a little thing like this just filled with ashes. And I was like, what are we supposed to do? There's nobody here. And so I had to dip my thumb, and then I did the kids. I did everybody. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be Polish to polish off a punch key. Punch key. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then do it yourself. Mm-hmm. Here's Susie. You can get ashes out of your grill if you have that charcoal grill. Mm-hmm. I want someone that looks at me the way that Dina reads comments about donuts, right? I'd be like, Kylie. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. DUI ashes. Different. Very different. Okay, I just want to tell you guys the funniest thing. Laurie left about 30 minutes ago because she said she had to go to post office. The funny thing is, she left her camera on, and I could see her in the green room the entire time. I was like, she's going to come back and realize that this is off. But she literally just got up and went to the post office. Is that where she was going? I could still see her house. I love her because she's just as much of a mess as I am. And Poundski. Mm-hmm. She went to UPS and made it on time. Well, tell Michelle, please text her back and say, we've been watching your desk at home and all is fine. Please text her that and see what she says. Say, Dina's cracking up because she can still see your office. 2 minutes till the Ave Maria, girls. Oh. Mm-hmm. I work in Catholic healthcare. The nuns come to our clinic and give ashes to anyone who wants them. Laurie, I wish that a nun would show up here tomorrow morning and just bring me ashes. That would be so convenient. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if she shows back up in her pajamas in like 2 seconds, I'm going to crack up. Mm-hmm. No, I'm telling you, she's clearly at the post office right now. She's texting Michelle. But I can still see her office in the green room. It's making me laugh. I was like, oh, she must have just stepped away for a second. Girl, she at the post office. She just left her computer on. I know. Where's Lady Di been? Oh, I got a surprise tomorrow. We're on location. You don't want to miss the morning show tomorrow. No, Tracy, I have not saved anything. Actually, Stephanie and I are meeting this week to start. Facebook has not really been great about. You know what I'd like to do, and please remind me of this tomorrow, is to make a list of the lives that we definitely want to download. Just so you know, I calculated how many lives we have. I think I told you this. It was 2,100 live videos. There's no way I'm going to download all of them. It's too much. So I want to make a list of the ones that we feel like are the ones that we should save. That clock has to ring in a minute. Did you put it in the lobby? In the lobby. Did you put it in our lobby? can barely hear it.
You're what?
Yeah, you can. I know, Kelly. You know what I was thinking about? The one where Jacqueline learned to drive. Okay. My dad, all the ones with my dad. Feta, the pool, Morse code. Yeah, that's right. All the ones with Diana. Yeah, it's my waiting. What hotel you at? Is it in the lobby? I didn't realize you were living such luxury that you have a lobby. I know. Anything with Missy. I know. You didn't hear the clock, Joanna. It was beautiful. Poop in the cone. I'm going to have to download all of them. I have no idea how we're going to do it. Prom. Thanksgiving poop blow up. The Quarantine Chronicles most of them were not live. I know. I didn't always label them, Mia. You're right. Taping Dean to the wall. All right. Just remind me I'm not writing any of these down, and I don't even know how I'm going to find them. Yeah. The one where Di's not wearing any underwear. Oh my gosh. Without context, this is the blueberry one. Remember the blueberry fight? The ones with Michelle and Nicole. Remember with the floor? Remember when my sister went live on her own? I had set the whole thing up and I needed better lighting. And I told Nicole to get lighting. And when I came back upstairs, Michelle was already live. Oh my gosh. Can't we just hit select all and come back in a week and it's done? You would think, oh, the chandelier, the giraffe. The bird at Chris's house. When Brooke went live. Remember when Brooke? Yeah. It was Jan's graduation. Yeah. Just save all of them. We'll take turns. Yeah. 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 There's so many. I don't know. Dean's surgery. That was literally one of the first lives we ever did. Do you remember back then is when I first started going live and they had a program and it said, if you could have 70 people on at the same time, you can get monetized. And we did. And that was a lie. It wasn't until 3 years later that I was like, oh, this could be my job. And it was 3 years in a pandemic later. When I saw Sleepless in Seattle. Oh, look, Laurie. Oh, let's invite Laurie back. Oh, hey, Laurie. Laurie, I literally thought that you walked away for a second. You would come back, and I was like, "This bitch left," and we've just watching. We've been watching your house for 20 minutes.
Oh my God. I hope nothing happens.
It's all good. Nothing bad happened. Listen, anytime you need me to house it, just let me know.
Okay. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, I'll see you.
Sorry about that. Bye.
Bye. She's so funny. So funny. All right, everybody. That's it for me. I got to go home. I have a job tomorrow. I have to get up really early. And we're on location tomorrow at a surprise location. So you don't want to miss that. So many thanks to Laurie and Michelle Mooney for sexy producer Michelle, as you know her, for putting all this together. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great night and a blessed night. I'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye.